Another really engaging one is this Peek Inside Nighttime, which has all these tiny little flaps that their little fingers love to uh, work through, get some fine motor skills going on there, and these cool little holes that are very artistically woven into the book to create other images and textures. So these are all the things that people and animals are doing when your littles are sleeping. They might wonder about that. Does your little one have a hard time falling asleep? Mine does. Mine also has a hard time getting dressed, and I'm really excited that this series is now available. So you can get a box set of Max and Millie with lots of skills that your toddler might be working on. Get dressed. Getting dressed, that's a big challenge in this house. So the dad uses different tactics to try to get them to get dressed, and at the end asks, can you get dressed too? Fun. Here's a really fun one. You have probably seen these muddle and match books on other videos because they're very popular. The pages are divided into 3, and you can flip through and mix and match your animals, and they have alliteration on the pages. So that starts getting them familiar with different consonants and vowels and matching all of that up. So matching vowels, matching animals, really cool. Okay, so I love Lift the Flaps, and I think everybody should have this book in their house. Every child is going to go through different developmental stages with the body, and it's very important to know about the body, all ages. So this has so many flaps. This is our absolute favorite page. You eat the food goes down the esophagus, it says down the tube, then into your stomach, churn, 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 and it leaves the stomach, goes to the small intestines, and then the large intestines, and then it shows you how, if your intestines were uncoiled, to be the size of a baby blue whale. Pretty cool. And then what happens after that? It comes out, and voila. So if you're potty training, that's a good way to learn about that. Talks about different functions of the body there. Then your bones, and how your lungs work, and your muscles. Over here, your brain. How does your brain work? What are your senses? It's just jam-packed with a lot of information about the body, and it's fun to flip through. Another Lift the Flap questions and answers book that I really love is this How Do Flowers Grow? Perfect for springtime right now. So you get to see how all the seeds are planted and how they get bigger and they unfold in really neat ways. And there's also a really fun part where you can trace the path of the bee. And here you can trace your finger along the path of the bee, spreading the pollen. So really cool, How Do Flowers Grow? I'm going to keep going on the Lift the Flap theme right now. Questions and answers. Food. Does your child have trouble eating? Well, mine does. So it's fun to discover, well, where does food come from? How is food made? Or all the how questions, and it goes through. Each quick page has a different question, so that's great. We like to read that at the dinner table sometimes. Here's another fun series. Oops, I didn't bring my flashlight to show you the shine a light, the light behind, but what we like to do is hold the book up to the light. So we go like this, and I hold the page, and we're usually lying down, and we look up at it like that, and behind the page is this black and white picture that shines through on the other side. You may have seen that in other videos, so I just wanted to share that we love them too. Got a couple of those. This book is really neat. I just love this cover, the feel of this cover. It goes through what's above and below the ground, or the water. There's the ocean, so you get to peek inside what's above and what's below. And this one opens up who's hiding in the trees. So great nonfiction there. We had started with this, my very first Our World book. And just, you know, as a little itty bitty one, they like to look and peek at all those tiny little things that are going on in our world, and it talks about the seasons and rotation. Really great for your littles too. Okay, a little more nonfiction for you. Here's the Big Book of Stars and Planets. My husband loves talking about space, so we got this one with really big flaps that don't even fit in the screen. So giving lots of information about planets. I find that there are lots of books on planets and such, but not all of them go in depth for little ones. And here you could take the pieces that you want from it when you want. Here's a really big flap. Whoa, really big. So those are fun. Whoops. Big books. That's a big book series. Okay, I'm going to move on to some really fun stories. We were recently introduced to Jonathan James and the What If Monster, and there's some other books in this series now. And the rhythm of this book is so great and so catchy. I didn't think Laurel would like, the What If Monster, She doesn't like monsters. She loves it. And it goes through, like, what if you tumble? What if there's wind? What if you slip and your knee gets all skinned? And it talks to those worries and doubts, and then towards the end, he changes. The boy says, well, wait a minute. What if you're wrong? And he goes through valiantly through all of these other feats. And it's just a great way to show, like, you know, you're capable of doing more than maybe you think you are. Hey, Reed's talking to me. I'm going to talk fast. So I really love the readers. So this is a collection of Bible stories. And here they've got Noah's Ark, Joseph and his amazing Technicolor coat, Moses and the bulrushes, David and Goliath, Daniel and the lions, Jonah and the whale. Hey Reed, you're talking to us? So what's great about these is that there's a line at the top that your child, as they're learning to read, can read on their own and have a complete story. And you can add the extra text down there at the bottom. So that's really awesome because they can follow along there and it's not too much, and there are lots of pictures to go along with the stories. Love that. Okay, hey Reed. Okay, Reed's gonna make an appearance in our video. Oh. So here's another reader series, Ted and Friends. So I'll just open up a little bit so you can see again. Lots of like easy to read words with lots of rhyming and matching vowel sounds, and really neat little flaps that fold out. These are not really sturdy flaps, so if you have readers who are going to rip pages, maybe wait a little bit, but it's great to have and you can read it to them. And they're simple, engaging stories. Okay, all-time favorite, folks, the Gobble Gobble Moo Tractor Book. And I don't know who loves it more, me or Laurel. It goes through these animals riding on the tractor, and they go through the sounds that the tractor makes, and each animal adds its own sound to make the sound of the tractor while the farmer is sleeping. It's musical. It's musical with the animal sounds, and it's just a fun story. Well, what if he wakes up? So I highly recommend that. You may have seen some of the phonics readers. So they have matching vowel sounds to help kids with beginning reading and simple stories and fun. You can get them in singles, or you can get sets of stories, which is a better deal. Of course, you're getting more stories. Okay, here's a fun story, A Tale of Two Beasts. This is a hardcover, and it gives the story from her perspective and his perspective, and she was so happy to get this pet out in the woods, and he was kind of frightened and was wondering what happened. But in the end, their stories came together, and it was a happy ending. But it's a great story for perspective. Speaking of stories, there's the Inspiration series. There are 4 books in this series. We got the set because one's about music, one's about stories. Will loves to build, one's about building, and the other, music stories. I can't remember it right now off the top of my head. But what's fun about this one, Tell Me a Story, is that there's a little paper plane hiding on each page. And it's fun to find it. Let's see, I can't remember where this one is. Oh, the squirrel's holding it. So on each page, your child can find the little paper plane. It's a rhyming story and it has really thick pages. Just feels like a book you'd want to have and collect and keep for a long time. For those who like to do some more activity type stuff, here's a fun step-by-step drawing book. And this is great. Laurel loves to draw. This is great because it really takes you step by step and they're simple. So hey, parents, maybe you need some guidance with drawing. It's really fun, takes you through all the steps. So it gets your drawer, little artist